Welcome back to the 1111 Synchronized broadcast. Hope this is meeting and greeting you in the best spirits. Hope everyone is doing well, staying safe, staying indoors, doing the best you can, keeping your vibe high, attracting your tribe, and staying alive. All right, if you have any topic requests, please send them to my inbox at Agent K21 Podcast on Instagram, or on Instagram and Twitter at Agent K21. Meet me, greet me, find a way to reach out. Let me know what you'd like to hear covered on this channel in the upcoming season. Let me know what you like to hear. If you'd like to be a feature on the channel, or if you'd like me to be a feature on yours, please let me know. So we are still in this, guys. We are moving forward, right? And a lot of stuff is going on in the planets, in the world. In general, there's just so much going on, but yet there's so much not going on. And so in this place of surrender, this time of ease, this time of reflection, this time of being homebound, we're given the opportunity, right, to really reflect and have introspection and make a new normal, create a new world. And so this pandemic is really Mother Earth and Father Time's way of saying to the children of the earth, this is a time to be. And so with being, there's 12 universal laws that govern the entire universe. And I'm going to cover one of those laws today. I think I briefly mentioned it in an episode previously, but in this episode, I'm going to talk about the law of gender. What is the law of gender? How does that affect me? How can I work with that universal law? What is that exactly? So the law of gender, in my personal opinion, it's not necessarily about your biological gender. It's more surrounded around energy. It's more about duality and creating oneness within ourselves. And so regardless of our gender, we all embody masculine and feminine energy. And balancing those energies is what we're all finding, right? That is the unity within ourselves that we seek first and foremost for ourselves, that we can attract from others. And so this balancing game of understanding our different divine aspects is what can really help us attract certain situations, certain people, the way we interact with certain things. It can really help navigate that. And so some people have wounded feminine or masculine sides that may need a little bit of attention. All right. And then you have other people who don't believe they are having male and female energies, right? And that creates more of an internal wound, right? The denial, the suppression of that. And it can create an imbalance in one side. So for example, I consider myself to have more masculine energy. So if I were to use a percentage, I would say I have about 70% masculine energy, about 30% feminine energy. What that creates is an imbalance. And so this time of self-reflection can help balance out those energies. Now, each person is going to have different ways, different scales to measure that energy. The first step is to acknowledge it, to acknowledge and accept that we have male and female energy within us. And this really paints and can distort our perception of how we perceive males, how we perceive females, how we treat ourselves, how we were raised, the conditions, the beliefs we have. And it really enforces our romantic relationships, right? Whether they're opposite sex or same sex, it really can have an impact on our relationship. Now, as with all things, it's all a reflection of our relationship with ourselves. So it's very important to first and foremost integrate these aspects within ourselves first to create a unity, a harmony of balancing out our polarities, balancing out our energies. And so with that, like I just said, my energy tends to resonate more with the masculine side. So often in my life, I've been mistaken for the opposite sex. Most recently just happened a couple days ago, right? And I think about my earliest memory of being mistaken for being the opposite sex. I would say I was about 10 years old, and I was on my way to summer camp, and I was waiting at the bus stop, and I was just chilling, I'm just sitting there with my braids, and I'm just like chilling, and these girls are like staring at me, and they're giggling on the bus and pointing at me, and I'm just like, whatever. And later on, found out they thought I was a guy, and they had this major crush on me, and et cetera, et cetera. And it was really conflicting emotions for me, because I knew at the time I was attracted to the same sex, but I also hadn't accepted that within myself. So it created a lot of conflicting emotions and a lot of overwhelming feelings there. And so not knowing what to do with that, it just created a lot of turmoil, a lot of inner war, and confusion for me at that age, not really sure what was going on. And that happens a lot, especially for people in the LGBT community, just people in general who may have more masculine or feminine energy. Now, this is not to be confused with sexual preference or orientation. You can have a dominant vibration or energy aligned to, the opposite gender of your biological gender, and that has nothing to do with your attraction. It all has to do with energy. So let's not get that confused, because there's a lot of guys that will have feminine energy and qualities who are, not part of the LGBT fam. And so that also begs the question to me, because I started to wonder, okay, there's a universal law of gender. I thought, how does that translate for, transgender individuals? Now, from my limited understanding of the transgender community, I initially felt that when I wasn't sure of my sexuality at first, when I started realizing I had feelings for the same sex, I initially had feelings that I might have been transgender, because I thought, am I in the wrong body because I'm attracted to the same sex and I don't see any representation of this anywhere, so I must be in the wrong place. And I feel like that's the overwhelming feeling that I sense is, feeling like your soul doesn't match your body, essentially. And but I never felt like I needed to transition myself personally. But I did feel like I'm in the wrong place, the wrong time. And so the word that actually resonates more with me is two-spirit. And two-spirit is a Native American word. And what that means, two-spirit, according to Google, two-spirit refers to a person who identifies as having both a masculine and a feminine spirit, and is used by some indigenous people to describe their sexual, gender, and our spiritual identity. And I felt like that represents how I feel more so, because I feel like it's, feeling the difference between having masculine and feminine energy. It feels like my soul itself is just masculine and feminine. I feel like other people might relate to that as well, but there are not a lot of words to describe that. So it doesn't really matter which body you ended up in, because your soul itself feels divinely both, without a separation. And so when we talk about the law of gender, again, it's not about preferences or biological appearance. So I'm going to read a definition of what the internet says about the law of gender. I kind of gave my personal view of it, so let's check out what the experts have to say. And this is coming from the wellnessuniverse.com blog. So if you go to your best friend Google and search that, you'll find the wellnessuniverse.com. All right. So the law of gender states that everything has its masculine and feminine qualities. This law often expresses itself in the discussion of yin and yang. All things exist as inseparable and contradictory opposites, or as law of polarity express, one topic, same pole. The divine feminine, yin, is space, darkness, chaos, soft, passive, potential energy, old, infinity, and your subconscious mind. The divine feminine is the space or darkness, of which all things are created and can never be created or destroyed. Like energy, it is the foundation of all creation. It is spirit. It comes in form, through form and out of form, and then cycles again. The divine feminine is the isness, or the being of all things. The divine masculine, yang, is specific, light, structure, hard, order, kinetic energy, creativity, active, young, new, in your conscious mind. The divine masculine is the point of focus in this now moment that pulls the energy, isness, into form and brings it into manifest creation. The divine masculine is the action or the doing. And so, as it says, we are human beings, not humans doing, right? And I feel that this shift that is happening on planet Earth right now is really trying to get us to stop doing and start being. And is giving Mother Earth, Gaia, just the chance to breathe, to be, and to allow that form of surrender, right? And I feel like a lot of people who may be struggling with this time are used to the addiction of being busy, are not used to sitting with oneself. So one way to really cultivate a more pleasurable experience as transitions occur is to surrender to the unknown and to factor in just being, not trying to put more effort, not wasting energy on action and not having any results, but actually just be. Just allow things to happen. Give everything permission to exist without trying to dictate it, without trying to name it or control it or anything. And I feel like the universal law of gender is really here to help us understand these principles. So one way I would say to really do this, sitting in this place of just being, one thing that's really helped me has been meditation. I did an entire episode on meditation that you can check out with a special guest. You can check that out. Listen to that if you're struggling with it, just sitting in the present moment. Meditation can help in this time of uncertainty. Another thing is breath work, breathing. There's an entire episode on that. You can listen to that as often as needed to guide you into breath work. And the other thing I enjoy doing is yoga, which is an action, but it's also a stillness. And so those are a few things that can help for those who are irritated, tired of being quarantined, ready to get back out, ready to do the damn thing. This is a time to pump the brakes and say, how can I just be? All right, so continuing from that website blog, thewellnessuniverse.com blog, it says, furthermore, if we use the law of gender as a guideline to manifest in this physical world, this would be the process. First, surrender thought and action and submerge deep into the space, our womb, of the divine feminine, yin. The isness, our state of being and allowing. Secondly, feel the vibration of this energy within your physical body and expand through breathing. This is the act of raising your vibration, yang. Thirdly, sit in this expansion of energy until move to inspire action, yin and yang. Sitting in the expansion can be both literal and figurative. Inspired action is action moving you with direct focus by the energy with little contemplative thought. And so again, it's finding that oneness, finding that beautiful dance of harmony between the masculine sides and the feminine sides, and recognizing what is needing a little bit more attention. There are a lot of people who have wounded entities within themselves, and I feel that it almost manifests differently if you are that gender that it's wounded. For example, if you're a male who has a wounded masculine side, you can engage in toxic masculinity, which is all about like force and control and violating boundaries and self and betrayal and, just different things like that, instead of tapping into the divine masculine, which is about protection and service and action. And so oftentimes we have those things that can happen, and they manifest differently, of course, for everyone, but especially if you're that gender, and you can tap into your divinity even more because you are representing that gender as well. And so, if you're a woman and you have a pattern of toxic feminine quality, you might try to be controlling or manipulative or trapping people, just things that are not holding space like the divine feminine does. And so those things can really manifest differently in the body and in our interactions. So it's very peculiar to take the time to recognize the wounds that we carry from generations, from past lives, from observations, from whatever you believe in, however it shows up. And whether we believe in them or not, they are all coexisting and happening. And, we do things and we don't know why we're doing them. It could be some other things going on there. So I would recommend looking into the law of gender. As you can see, that is part of manifesting, right? The law of attraction, all the 12 universal laws really work together. And so running from our wounding or from our divinity, it doesn't really help us, and it doesn't help the collective. So for those who are listening, I thank you for listening. If this is helping you and you think you might help someone else, please feel free to share, feel free to subscribe. The law of gender is not based on a biological sense. It's based on energy. So it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be surrendering. It doesn't make you any less powerful, whether male or female. These are things that have been negatively shunned a lot of times. So with that, we must take some love and care and attention to look at these things. And remember, this is a time to just be. So I do feel that the divine feminine is being activated in all of us who are willing to accept. It is here for us. I hope this meets and greets everyone in the best spirits. Keep them high, stay high, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Until next time.